so I'll use this one. Glad to see you. We are in for a phenomenal treat tonight. As you know, those of you who've been here this semester, and particularly those who've been here for several semesters, we have quite a lineup of speakers. Nobel laureates, people who have made their fortune on CNN News, and we've had people almost every week who give us an incredible amount of information. But tonight, you're not only going to get an incredible amount of information, but because I know these two gentlemen so well personally, and they're both close friends, you're also going to hear two of the finest lecturers in the country. They are just brilliant. And I'm going to introduce them. But as I told you, this is going to be a fun evening. So what we're going to be doing is looking tonight at education, training, and workforce development, but let me show you what we're going to do next week. Next week, we're going to follow up, having looked at workforce, we're going to be looking at promoting economic development and innovative economy. Chuck Grigsby has run one of the largest quasi-public agencies here, providing capital. He's a former banker. He's been working very closely with the governor and with me on the development of the new Massachusetts Growth Capital Corporation, which was passed by the legislature earlier this year and signed by the governor last month. And we have Susan Wyndham-Bannister, another dear friend of mine, who is the president and CEO of the Mass Life Sciences Center, the billion-dollar corporation that the governor set up in order to provide grants and loans to life science companies over a 10-year period. The two of them know more about economic development and how it gets done in the Commonwealth than almost anyone else. And these are critical issues for this governor and whoever is the next governor. And then, of course, I want to remind you that next spring, starting on January 12th, we're going to do something that I'm really excited about, and that is next semester, bring your friends, bring your family. Demography is destiny. We are going to take a look at what seems like a dull topic, demography, all about people and the changing demographics of society. But we're going to show over the weeks we get together all the ways that demography actually affect our lives. In fact, probably nothing affects our lives more than demography, maybe even more than environmental change. And we're going to see that in a local context, we're going to see that in a national context, we're going to see it in a world context. Why did the economists just say that India will surpass China by 2025 and link it to the one-child policy of China? Those are the kinds of things we're going to look at. Tomorrow morning, I'll be releasing for our Dukakis staff the Commonwealth, the Greater Boston Housing Report Card for 2010, and the very last part has to do with demography as destiny, housing. So we're going to be doing all of those things. But as I said, what we're going to start with tonight is looking at education, training, and workforce. And I want to just set the stage. Here we are at a premier university, Northeastern University, one of the top 60 or 70 universities in the country according to U.S. News and World Report. We turn out among the most elite students in the country, along with other universities here in Boston, who go on to create corporations, to give us cures for cancer, who are looking over the horizon. And we desperately need them. But we also need plumbers, and we need carpenters, and we need people who manufacture things, and we need all kinds of people for a society to work. And so what we want to do is really talk about workforce development. Where's the workforce going to be in the future? As some of you know, a couple of years ago, the Dukakis Center put out a major study called Staying Power, the Future of Manufacturing in Massachusetts, and came to the conclusion that over the next 5 to 10 years, we would have to find 100,000 new workers to fill jobs of people who are retiring. Where are they coming from? Where do we get people who know how to run computerized numerical control machine? Right? Training a lot of hairdressers. Who's going to run the CNC equipment? Those are the kinds of issues we want to talk about tonight. How do we develop the workforce for the future so that the prosperity that we've had continues? And how do we do it in such a way that we get more equitable development we've seen? I want to introduce these two people, and I'm going to say in advance that I'm about ready to do something that I have always wanted to see done. And And I've never even seen it on Saturday Night Live, although it will seem that way. And no one's prepared for this. But our two speakers, in reverse order of presentation, are Paul Harrington, who has been a dear colleague of mine here at Northeastern for the 11 years I've been here. And Paul, you've been here at Northeastern since the 1980, 30 years, and is, without a doubt, the foremost authority on workforce development and training programs, certainly not just in the Commonwealth and New England, but all over the country. And he works all over the country in those issues. Working with his colleague Andy Sum, they developed the Center for Labor Market Studies here. I don't think there's another center in the country that has gotten more publicity for the literally hundreds of studies they put out on workforce training, on education, on inequality. Recently had a very important op-ed in Globe. Our other speaker is a very, very dear friend of mine, Charlie Lyons. And I decided to check out Charlie's resume. And so I went to Wikipedia. And so this is what I heard about Charlie Lyons. Charlie Lyons is a producer and financier of major motion pictures. He is a managing partner of Holding Pictures and was previously CEO of Beacon Pictures, obviously a Boston firm. These enterprises have generated over $2 billion in revenue, and they have produced such great films as The Water Horse, Ladder 49, For Love of the Game in 13 Days. Lyons was also executive producer and manages the Bring It On franchise for Beacon Communications. Began his career as a staff aide to Vice President of the United States, Nelson Rockefeller. And went on to assist the Honorable William B. Rogers in financing the Panama Canal Treaty. Right? No. As Emily Litella used to say on Saturday Night Live, never mind. That is not the Charlie Lyons we have here today. We actually have a much more exciting Charlie Lyons. Charlie Lyons did something that I don't think anybody has ever done in the history of the world. Charlie Lyons' highest elected office, I believe, in local government, was a selectman in the town of Arlington, Massachusetts. And he parlayed that into becoming the president of the National League of Cities, the largest organization that represents, I think, something like 19,000 cities and towns across the country. He has been one of the leaders in this country when it comes to understanding both the promise and the challenges of local government. But in addition to that, he's the superintendent of the Shawsheen Vocational Technical School and has been a leader in vocational education and thinking about those issues. He's also one of the funniest people I know. Charlie Lyons.